Rush Rally 3 is a premium game on the Play Store. It's a paid game. This card's got all kinds of customizable things in here for you to explore. Here's something I've done with the Peglet. I've come up with my own paint scheme for it, but that's not the car I'm going to show you how to use in here. This is an untouched car. We're going to go into upgrades, customize, and this is the palette we got to use to customize our car. On this screen, the three most important buttons are down the lower row on the right. And there's a whole slew of decals here way off to the left, and the color palette off to the right. So let's go to the bottom row. We'll hit the new page symbol here. We'll clear the decals that are currently on there. Well, that definitely looks plain. And off to the far left, we hit those buttons. We can access the same features you get to in the paint your car portion, which is about as far as you get in most other games on the Play Store for customizing your car. Now if I hit the plus symbol up on the top right, or top left I should say, look at that, all those other icons show up on the car on the screen. Looks kind of daunting, doesn't it? Well, here's probably some of the important ones I'll be showing you in this video. There are 4 different decal packs down the bottom. You swipe that left and right and you'll find all the different decals that are available there. Now up next to the magnet on the top right, there's a camera symbol. That will swipe the car around to different positions. So you'll be looking at the center of it. Will center on the car in about 6 different positions or so. By swiping the screen outside of the circle in the center, you can change the rotation of the car. And by swiping in the circle, you can move the highlighted decal or the decal you've just placed around. Now you just touch the color palette off to the right and you can change the color of that decal. And we're going to try to make what is an effect, a glare of reducing effect on the bonnet here of the car. This is not going to show up perfectly, but you notice it doesn't show up on the glass there. There's a reason for that. The decal is either applied to glass or it's applied to the body of the car. I've just used the button off to the third button off to the left of the magnet. By changing that to glass, it will now appear on the glass. By hitting it again, it's on the car. I hit the check mark so I can have a look to see how that shows up on there. That looks reasonable. It's not perfect. I'd probably spend more time to make it better. I'm going to hit the plus mark, which will give me another circle. I'm going to change that to a square. And I'm going to center it by hitting the camera. Swipe it here. Hit the plus mark again. I'm going to change the... Okay, this decal appears over top of the one that was just there, the black one. Now I've got a white one over top of it. And I can resize it by using the tools on the edge of the circle. There we go. And I'm going to hit the plus mark again. We'll go down to a different decal pack. I'll put a letter there, which isn't going to show up because it's the same color. Nah, I don't want to call this guy by a letter. We're going to call him by a number. There we go. Now you notice the numbers and the letters show up different sizes there. We'll resize that. So if you try to make something out of both letters and numbers, it's not going to work. We've only got the number on one side. We've got to do something here. Okay, underneath that magnet there are 3 tools. There's one a shoot through, and there's a symmetrical one. We'll use the symmetrical one for the decals we just put in there by activating it, and we'll know where it's activated because it's green. We hit the check mark there. Take a look. There we go. It shoots the, no, it doesn't shoot it through. It puts it on the other side of the car at the exact center of the same spot, and it's symmetrical laterally. It only works laterally. It doesn't work to front and the back of the car. Now I'm going to show you something else with that 6. I'm going to stop doing that symmetrical. I'm going to shoot it through the car. We'll hit the check mark so I can have a look the other. It's a complete mess. So how about we take a look at what the saved decal pack is from before. The default one there, we'll hit that line, and it has a confirm. So you hit that, then you hit the other one there too, and we're back to the original. Told you those were the most important buttons on here. Right away I notice there's something on there I don't care for. We've got a Sunshield at a funny angle on one side of the car. It's black, so it's probably one of these decals. I found that the decals at the top of the screen are usually on the windshield, and the windshield symbol's showing up there, so that one is definitely on the windshield. We'll highlight that by changing the color of it, and we should have noted what color was on there previously. Well, that one had absolutely no effect on that sunscreen, so we'll change that back to what it was before, which was a middle black. We'll go to the next one down. We'll change that and highlight it bright yellow, which contrasts with everything on there. Okay, you may not show on your screen, but this resolution, I've got a little bit of yellow on the sunscreen. So we'll change the next one down. Highlight it to make it yellow. The whole sunscreen is now yellow. It's been highlighted. We know exactly where it is. Now, what's going on? Okay, the sunscreen is symmetrical. Now, it's what I found. Decals over top or above what was on there previously. So, how about we change one of the ones above? This is non-symmetrical. This could be the one we're looking for. Now, we'll save that, or hit the check mark to freeze it in place. That looks like it would probably go right over top. We'll go back to the one we just highlighted in the green. Make it symmetrical. Make sure it's over top. So we'll make the green symmetrical, and now we change it to the color of the car, which is the glass for that part of the car. Now the glass part is over top. It's over top of the part of the yellow that was on the side. So that worked. Now let's change we don't want that funny color on the front of the car. We'll change those back to the color they were before. Now while we're in here, I'm going to show you how to, by using the 100% way down the bottom underneath the magnet, I can change the effective. What is and varying the color does help some too. I can change the effect of what's like the sunscreen on the front of the car. Now, that's a little bit of customization so far. Now there's some Japanese on here. My Japanese isn't too good. It's probably not as good as yours, that's for sure. You know what? I'm going to remove that by hitting the minus symbol. It will go to the next decal in the queue, which is also on the bonnet there. And the BSS symbol. This has got a clear center to it, so I'm going to double this one. I'm going to make the one underneath dark. The one over top, I'm going to make translucent, which sort of gives you more of a 3D effect. Now, how about we go to the one right up front? Actually, this decal is right on the front of the car. I think it should be a little more prominent than that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to project it at an oblique angle. See what kind of effect we get. It's definitely more readable. Doesn't quite look like a decal anymore. And a curved car shows up somewhat different. When you use oblique angles, it does some funny things sometimes. Now here's a symbol I don't care for, the joystick. It makes my car look like a toy, at least I think it does. And I went to the decal I wanted to select, and we'll put that where the joystick was. Let's make that just a little taller. And there are two of these BSS's pretty close together here, so how about I move that one, the one I just slid out of there. Now back where I was here, doesn't quite look right to me. So I'm going to change that decal from Rally Rush by tapping the decal that I like. I could slide back and forth to look for other decals there. And we'll just reposition that a little bit there too. Now I've managed to customize the car a little bit. I have done a really good job on it. It takes a while usually to do this. A larger screen definitely helps. Now while I'm in here, I'd like to show you something else you can do. We'll highlight that decal right there. We're going to double it up by hitting the plus. We're going to go down to our selection here. We're going to hit a square. We'll make it black. Try to help you be able to see it a bit. And we're going to see if we can do something with the bumper on the car. And try to make that square into a line. Now, if I were to spend a lot of time doing this, it would take a fair amount of time. It usually does take a fair amount of time. I can change the bumper a little bit there. Now, I've got one, and then that extends around the corner, so let's plus that one. This one's going to go on both sides of the car, so we'll make it symmetrical. Now, I've probably changed the way that line will line up on the car by doing this. The car sometimes has a tendency to stick a little bit. Oh, that's way too long for there. Long enough. Redecaling a car tends to take a fair amount of time. It's not quite lined up right. And the finer your screen, and the larger your screen, it might take you more time. That's sort of a starter for it. It doesn't quite line up there. There's some more of that decal effect up the front of the car, or that bumper effect. Look, you see the decal doesn't show up over top of the wheel well. Can be a little sticky trying to slide decals around. Sometimes I find if you use a screen pen, if you've got a fine screen pen, it might work a little smoother. Now, there was a little bit of an angled part of that, so we're going to put a plus on that. We'll change that to a contrasting color, and we'll use the rotation tool on the wheel. Get it to line up right. We don't need one quite that long. Make sure it's wide enough. See if we get it to line up pretty good there. And let's change that to the car color. Oh, the car color is red, so we'll use the symbol next to it. Okay, it's not lined up perfectly. It's angled about right. Let's just slide that a little bit in there. Let's try that. That's a little better. So you get an idea how complex it can be to do a fairly detailed paint scheme. But if you just want to change the decals that are around there, you can come up with something usually fairly decent. You can change the color of them, slide them around, or completely change the sponsor of your car.